come to any consensus with Governor Hochul about whether or not she should
I'll make a statement and then I'll answer you.
Thank you.
I had a meeting around 35 minutes with the governor and expressed to her my concern about what is going on in the city and the state. Let's make no mistake about it, that we are in this position because President Trump, who pardoned people that were videotaped physically assaulting people January 6th, if he really felt that Eric Adams had become a subject to a political vendetta, which is what his defense is, then why didn't he pardon him? Now make it clear, I'm not asking for a pardon. I'm talking about the inconsistency that led to this. The only reason that we are facing a court hearing tomorrow, and the only reason that the governor has to make a decision to do something or not do something that has not been done in 235 years is because there was a double standard used on Eric Adams' case, that those that he claims he believed were victims. I do not believe that he should have gotten a pardon, but I believe that Donald Trump has been inconsistent. Having said that, the governor said to me that she's going to see what the judge decides tomorrow and keep deliberating with other leaders. My feeling is that the faith of the city people have been shaken, and there needs to be a resolve, but at the same time we must protect the law and not establish a precedent that could come back to haunt us.
Do you believe he should be removed?
The governor should remove him.
I just answered that.
What was the first question the governor asked
Yes, I
you,
did.
Reverend?
That's my answer.
Well, what's the first question the governor asked you?
My answer is that we're going to wait and see what the judge says tomorrow, so that we do not set a precedent that, suppose if today she removed him saying because he's been indicted, and the judge says tomorrow I'm throwing out the indictment. So it would be premature to say that.
Are you worried about
the
resignations of these deputy mayors?
I'm concerned about the state of the city and whether we can continue. Yes.
So do you see no issue then with the mayor being indicted in September and I guess the only changing factor is that the DOJ negotiated a dismissal. What if that hadn't happened? Would you have been okay with Adams staying in office?
Well, it seems like everybody was. There was no move for him to be removed when it happened. So it's not what I would say. The people that are asking for his removal based on the indictment should have said that when there was the indictment.
So Trump is
I'm going by what you asked. I'm using your words.
So Trump is the differing factor.
The differing factor is that Trump did not use a pardon. The Department of Justice decided to go with a non-judgment position of asking with no prejudice to drop the charges. That became a point of contention.
So
Are you concerned about the distraction of all of this?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, do you worry, even if the judge does dismiss the charges, like the distraction of all of this?
The distraction, I think, is very, very damaging to the city.
Do you have confidence in Mayor Adams' ability to govern right now?
I think that is something that we'll see after what the judge says, that we will discuss with the mayor. I think that clearly there are a lot of people concerned, and I'm very much one of them. We ought to be talking about the rights of people in the city. I'm very concerned that Mr. Holman came in here and acted like he could make Adams do what he wants, or he'd be up his butt. I can't believe someone would say that on national television. I'm very concerned about how the behavior and the character of people have been around a very serious issue. We're talking about families being separated, people being raided and that are not here illegally. I'm very concerned about that. And that's the issue we ought to be about.
What about the mayor's?
I have no idea if he's going to run.
What about the comments about Mein Kampf that Mayor Adams made yesterday? Does it show that he's not taking this seriously?
What comments did he make? I didn't hear his comment.
Reverend Sharpton, so if the charges are dropped, do you then think he should continue to serve in office? Is that what you're saying?
Again, we'll see when we get there. The law says that you can deal with it based on crime or public trust. So if the crimes are not there, then the question is, how do you evaluate public trust?
Do you think the inability? Do you think the inability committee applies like the consul?
It could. Absolutely, the inability committee could kick in. But again,
what else did Ms. Hochul tell you?
Can I answer one question at a time?
Please.
But the inability committee, everybody kicks in after we see what the judge says. The first thing is he still under indictment?
What else did Ms. Hochul tell you? What else did you talk? Like, what else did she say to you? Did she communicate?
Well, she and National Action Network. I came as head of National Action Network. I believe she's meeting with some elected officials. She's meeting with some faith leaders, and she's concerned about the city. I said, you're stable. You've been stable. We've got to go through this stable. And it's not about friends. If somebody's wrong, they ought to be held there. But we should not create a precedent we can't live.
Reverend, when was the last time you talked to the mayor? And I guess how was that conversation?
We talked over the weekend.
He's feeling confident, though, but, everyone's kind of losing faith in him a little bit, it seems like.
I talked to him over the weekend.
You know him for a long time. You get along with him.
Again, this is not about a friendship. This is about, I'm going to stand up for what I believe. I've had friends that I campaigned against in office. This is about what is right and what's going to be a precedent.
Reverend, if the charges are dropped, do you think that the governor could still seek the mayor's removal, even if the charges are dropped tomorrow?
Again, I just said that there are two ways, I understand, whether or not there's a crime or whether there's enough of an outcry of the city or of a given city that you've lost the public trust. And the question is, if there's no crime and you go to public trust, how do we gauge the public trust?
Reverend, she could ask him to resign.
She could.
Should she do that?
You should ask her that.
What do you think?
What I thought, I told the governor.
Right now, was this a political or? Thank you very much.
All right, so there we have it as we take a live look at the skyline of New York City. We were hearing from Reverend Al Sharpton after he met with New York Governor Kathy Hochul on potentially ousting Mayor Eric Adams. And Reverend Sharpton says he wants to leave it up to the judge. Tomorrow, Judge Ho, who is a Biden appointee, has scheduled a hearing at 2 p.m. Eastern time to review the decision to dismiss the charges against New York City Eric Adams. That means that President Trump's DOJ and Adams' lawyers must appear to discuss the reasons to dismiss these charges. This comes amid heightened criticism. This also follows an order from President Trump's DOJ directing prosecutors to drop the corruption case against New York City Mayor Adams, prompting at least 6 federal prosecutors to resign rather than comply. Reverend Al Sharpton saying that he is not going to be making any sort of decision or statement on his opinions until the judge tomorrow rules in that hearing. We will continue to follow all of these developments and bring you the very latest from that hearing as it is scheduled for 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I also wanted to share this with you. This is the very latest statement from Governor Hochul as she is weighing serious steps, potentially removing Mayor Adams, saying, quote, "I recognize the immense responsibility I hold as governor and the constitutional powers granted to this office. In the 235 years of New York State history, these powers have never been utilized to remove a duly elected mayor. Overturning the will of the voters is a serious step that should not be taken lightly. That said, the alleged conduct at City Hall that has been reported over the past 2 weeks is troubling and cannot be ignored." Reverend Sharpton saying that he, along with Governor Hochul, will wait and see what the judge rules tomorrow in terms of dismissing the corruption charges against Mayor Adams before making a decision.